Okay, we were disconnected. I think we are now back. So
yeah, welcome back to the meeting. Boris.
Yes, yes.
Please allow me to share this one screen, but we can finish up on etiquette and move on to a Q&A session.
Can you share now? Whenever.
Good, yes. Hopefully everyone can see what I'm sharing at this point. There are a few things. So Boris has mentioned a few etiquette tips. I will reiterate some of them in this section. They're pretty straightforward. I think they're just common rules of engagement, so that if you might use in any kind of meeting. These are things that you could use anywhere else, but in this case, we're specifying it to a Zoom session where you have an instructor. These are things to note. First of all, hopefully everyone can hear me. First of all, the first point is please check your dress code. I understand that all of us are working from home in one way or another. Some of us are working on the move, like Caleb Masigwa. I see him walking. Yes, so in this case, just make sure you check your dress code. And it's because we've seen scenarios where people are wearing a shirt and a tie up here, and then they're in undergarments on the other half. And then they forget that the camera is on, and then they leave the session. And you know, some of these things, it's very difficult to recover from. So please check your dress code. Make sure you're dressed decently at all times. For any sessions that you might be hosting yourselves, or any sessions that you might be attending. The second point is make sure you have a good background. Watch where what's happening behind you. If you're sitting in your room and you have umeanika vitu nyuma huko, please just make sure you clear your background completely if you want people to see you. In the case of a scenario where you are not somewhere, let me say decent, you can put up a profile picture of yourself instead of turning on your video. I can see a lot of you have actually, you have decent backgrounds, and that's good. Thirdly, if you're using a mobile device, make sure you position it properly. And this is because if you're having an hour or 2 hour long session, it could be a little difficult to hold your device in your hand for that long. For those of us with older phones, they get really hot when you start video calling. So please make sure that you position your devices correctly and that people can see you properly. A tip that I give people is if you are somewhere, if you want to be seen, like in the case of Mr. Roberts here, you have to position yourself in a scenario where the light is coming from the front of you, so that people can see you in the face. There's Elisha Kipngeno seems to have mastered that art because you can see him very clearly, and that's good. Other tips to note, Boris has mentioned this before. One, when you join the meeting, the first thing you do, not unless you have any questions or you are the chair of the meeting, please mute your microphone as soon as you get into the meeting, because your backgrounds are can be a little distracting. Secondly, to help keep, is someone drawing on my screen? Secondly, to help keep the background noise to a minimum, make sure you mute your microphone if you're not speaking. So during the meeting, when we unmute all microphones during the Q&A session, make sure that make sure that you mute your microphone if you're not speaking. Thirdly, mind your background noise. So kama uko kwa mjengo, for example, that would actually disrupt the entire session completely. So also make sure you have muted your microphone. When your microphone is not muted, avoid activities that could create additional noise, such as shuffling papers. Position your camera properly. If you choose to use a webcam, be sure that it is in a stable position and focused at eye level. Limit distractions. So if you're in a place where you have children, or you're in a place where there is a lot of activity going on, please just try as much as possible to limit distraction. Look for somewhere quiet to hold your meeting or to attend the meeting from. You can make it easier to focus on the meeting by turning off notifications. That means if you have a mobile device external to what you're using, a kabambe, for example, make sure that it is on silent mode. If you have notifications on your laptop, if you're using a laptop, make sure that you have muted those notifications. And avoid multitasking, because you distract the focus of the class when you are doing other things. You yourself will not understand what is being taught or the message that is being delivered. So as much as possible, ensure that you are focused on just this specific task. If you are, for example, attending the class and eating bread and tea on the side and holding the baby on the other side and trying to put Jim Jam, the Cartoon Network, for them, then that would be distracting. Number 10, you retain the discussion better if you refrain from replying to emails or text messages during the meeting. Now, this is an uphill task, because some of us have small classes of 7 and we can't keep you off your mobile devices for some suspicious reason. So I would encourage everyone to try as much as possible to not get distracted by SMSs, WhatsApp, and whatnot. Please just focus on what is going on in front of you. If it's a presentation that you are supposed to make sure that your materials are prepared in advance. The sharing option on the screen allows you to share some of the material that you, for example, want to use. So in my case, I created this Word document for you for this particular presentation. So it could be the same case for you. I imagine a scenario where you log in, you have been asked to make a presentation. You click on share, and the first thing we see in the background is your personal things. You could have a background that is inappropriate. You could have, maybe you could be watching a movie, and unfortunately you pause it in that one scene that is extremely inappropriate. So please sanitize your backgrounds. Make sure you have closed things in the background. If you're using a laptop, close applications that are unnecessary. Make sure that everything that you require for the meeting, if it's a presentation, is ready and set up in one folder. And before the meeting, you can even open all of those documents for review, so that when you are asked to share, you go directly into them. If you will be sharing content during meetings, make sure you have the files and links ready to go before the meeting. And I think that's most of it for me. But the most important things here are microphone etiquette. If you know you're somewhere where it is noisy, let's just say, as a rule of thumb, if you are attending a class with a lecturer and you know you are a lot of people, or you even could be 5 people, just make sure that your microphone is muted until a response is warranted. So if someone calls to you, like for example, if I call on someone right now, like Caleb Masigwa. Caleb, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Ah, that's good. Now you see, if you have been called upon to speak, make sure that you turn on your microphone, and then you other things that are worth note. I don't know who this is who's drawing lines on my screen. Please, as much as possible, try not to distract the person who's running the session, because nowadays these are unnecessary distractions. Though on the other hand, some of these things can be restricted in the background. So yeah, that's I think that's it. Microphone etiquette. Make sure you look appropriate. Make sure your background is okay. If it is not, make sure your camera is turned off. For long sessions, make sure you have put your mobile device somewhere where it can remain steady for a long time. And above all else, make sure you enjoy your sessions, because you know, unfortunately, some of you might think that we are here to disturb your holiday, but this coronavirus thing seems to be the reality for the foreseeable future, because the cases keep rising. So assuming that we do not end up meeting again this year, and that would be a really, really bad scenario. Assuming that we do not, we have to move on with life in one way or another. So let's make sure that we are aware of some of these things that we have shared here. Let's make sure that we attend some of these classes that will be made available to you in the coming weeks. I have no further things to add. Thank you very much for listening. I believe we can move into the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to, not all at once, obviously, but please feel free to raise your hand. In fact, at the bottom of your page, you should see a feature for raising hands somewhere. There's a feature for raising hands. So if you have something you want to share, please share with us.
And as you ask questions, please keep your registration numbers coming. You can type in your registration numbers as much as possible. It will help us track those who manage to attend the training. Please, please, please.
Hello, Boris.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, my concern is the button of invite. I think since these are students, would there be a risk of them inviting strangers to our classes? Maybe it needs to be part of the etiquette. We need to stress to them that they cannot just invite any other person, but maybe only members of the class. Thank you, that's my concern.
The invite button can be restricted on the side of the host.
Okay.
But the host you can restrict so that they cannot invite.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Any other question?
But also just to continue on the same point, as students, I think it would be important that you keep class matters inside of the class. So in the case where you have been allowed to invite people, please don't invite your friends who are not part of the class. Just ensure that you keep the class closed to you, because this knowledge you have paid for. These are fees that you paid for, and inviting external parties would be unfair to you, to the institution, and to the person who is instructing you.
Okay, thank you, Eugene.
Any other reaction or question? Wote tuko sawa? Yes, let's talk.
I've just joined the meeting right now, and
Just as I think maybe you can reach out to us a little later. This is a session on Zoom. Also, something that I think he has just reminded me, as students, please make sure you keep time. I mean, it's a very fundamental thing to life, which people might not be. Kenyans don't really respect time as much as we should. But I think when the instructor says we have 15 minutes to start the class, at the end of the 15th minute, the class should start. So, like for this one, it was 9:15. The session was supposed to start. We started at exactly 9:15. So I think for future reference, please try to attend on time.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, Eugene.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah. Could this session? Will these sessions be? Will you be able to maybe post them to me so that I can forward to students that attend the meeting?
I can see at the top left-hand side of the screen that we're recording this session, so maybe you can find a way to pass this along to you. But all sessions have been recorded so far, so you can have access to it.
Okay, so I request that it be forwarded to, because I'm seeing the students who have attended this session are less than 100, yet we have very many students, so maybe for their use later.
Sure thing. Boris will do the honors.
Okay, thank you.
I can see Kefa Momanyi is raising his hand.
Yes, I have a concern. No?
Yes.
Are we going to have classes daily? Because when you look at the internet, for example, from where I am, I'm only accessing 4G, meaning it is very expensive for us, some students. Can we schedule the classes daily, or it is going to have some durations such that you can get the credit and bundles?
I believe for class scheduling, your instructors will be responsible for that. You can actually reach out to them, class representatives, and agree on times that work best for the class. But for scheduling, it doesn't have to be a daily thing. You know, we're only left with, I think, 3 or 4 weeks to the end of a semester. So it's just a few sessions to close out whatever it was that you're supposed to close out. And then as we move forward, depending on how the situation will be, we can see basically how to adapt to our new situation. James Mwangi, we like the music in the background. It is not distracting in any way at all.
My music.
Any other questions?
Yes, my last question.
Yes, yes.
Are we going to have some exams and or cuts? How are we going to?
Those issues will be addressed by your lecturers and your CODs as we go along. This session was primarily focused on introducing you guys to Zoom, the platform, and how basically you can use it into the future. So those will be addressed on a school level.
Yes, Eugene, I have one more concern.
I got a question.
Sorry.
Hello, Eugene.
Yes.
Yeah, my other concern is, like yesterday, I was trying to create a class for my students on Google yes. Classroom, and I realized that the KAFUCO student mails are not working. It's actually a major concern. I even talked to Boris. When I try to add them with the KAFUCO mails, I can't add them. It's not working. But when I add them with their Gmail accounts, it's working. So I think something seriously needs to be done on the KAFUCO student mails. Most of them are not working.
Maybe Boris can address that, but so for this session, I think we will have to hold a side meeting and see how best to address some of these issues. but they will be addressed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any further questions? Any further questions? Elisha. Elisha Kipngeno, can you hear me?
Yes, I am hearing you.
Ah, good. I see you're looking very COVID-free. That is good. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any other question.
Okay, so I think I'll pass this back to Boris. Yeah, that's the end of the session from my end.
So if there is no any other question, maybe are we okay to go?
Oh, Boris.
Yes.
Yeah, is the meeting ending or there's another meeting? No, these are students. Maybe they need to be told when the next session will be. Just as a reminder, I've realized some of them are not even looking at the schedule. They keep asking me questions. Maybe you can remind them.
Maybe I can share the schedule. Let me share the document so that maybe all of them can download.
Okay, yeah, just share with them, please.
Okay. I will share at the bottom part where you are sending in your chats. You will find I'm sharing a document.
Yes, I've got a question. Is this the platform you're going to use for?
I want to believe you've written your registration number, all of you. Have you all written our registration numbers?
Boris.
Yes.
Yes, this is Omare.
Yes, yes.
Yes, in fact, the registration number I gave there is wrong because I thought you were sending as a formality to check the registration numbers for the students. So the one which is written Omare, just ignore it.
Okay, okay, fine. In fact, before I use them, I'll verify from the system if the numbers.
It's all right. It's all right.
The presentation that we've just had, I'll be sharing with you through your email addresses. So if you've indicated your registration number, I'll find your email addresses from the system, and I will share.
Yes, sir.
I will share the presentation. I will also do so through the portal.
Yeah.
I will also share it through the portal. So if you don't have any other question, I can see Valerie is raising her hand. Valerie.
Hana namba moja, anatumia ako na namba mingi za simu. Adina session ya Inoro FM kumaitora le jawado choroka utini anaikuru.
James Mwangi.
Hosea, do you have any question? I can see you are raising your hand. Hosea and Valerie.
Valerie, please unmute your mic if you have any question.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I was trying to ask a question whether this platform will be used even for learning or it's just for online registration only.
The main reason as to why we are training is that probably we'll start some online classes. So
Yeah.
you need to familiarize yourself with it. You might start your classes through Zoom, Google Classroom, and Big Blue Button. These are the and Moodle. So these are the platforms that we are training on right now.
Okay.
Yes. Linda?
Hey.
I can see you are raising your hand. You have a question?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I just joined the meeting now, and I'm not sure what is going on because nilikuwa na shida na audio kidogo.
Okay, if you sent your registration number through the chats, we'll share the presentation through your email addresses.
So we just tell them. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Linda.
I was asking your numbers and our email addresses.
The presentation will be shared through your email address and the portal as well. So if you missed out something, you find it on your email portal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it will guide you. Masinde.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
I can see you are raising
there's
your
another
hand.
Masinde here.
I can see you, Ekesa. Stephen.
Yes,
I'm fine, thank you. You have a question?
Yes, I have an issue about these Kenneth bundles. You know, students are complaining a lot. The Kenneth bundles that students were told they'll be given.
Did you register?
Yes, I registered. But I'm asking because on behalf of the students, because there is some forum, I've seen them complaining a lot about the 500 Kenya shillings.
For a month?
I don't know, 5 GB.
500 for a month?
Yes. So, you know, students are complaining they are not aware of whether the bundles will be available to them or not.
Okay, Eugene, can you react on that?
Okay, so as far as I know, the bundle should be made available. Benjamin Kiprono, the head of IT, is the person who's responsible for that. If there are any issues, there are means by which, if someone is specifically having issues, there are means by which you can raise some of them. I believe, Boris, is it through the website or via email? Can you share an email address where people can send the support needs to ICT?
Okay.
Hosea, I can see you are raising your hand.
Just trying to find out how the progress is, and I'm glad I'm following every discussion.
That's great.
Yeah.
Margaret Omondi. I can see you are raising your hand. So if up to
Hello,
that point,
Boris. Hello.
yes.
Hello, Boris.
Yes.
I think what these students are asking is whether they will be given bundles, which we need to clarify to them that it is them to buy the bundles. Once they register, they'll get the discounted bundles. The opinion, what they have in their mind is that the university will give them bundles, which you need to clarify.
That is not the case. That is why it is called discounted bundles. It is not for free. You are buying it at a lower price. So you have to buy the bundles.
Yeah, so I think the students are now aware that they are asking, is the university going to give us bundles, or what are we going to do? We can't afford. I think they need to understand that because of the situation we are in, they also just need to sacrifice. They need to be made aware that they'll buy the bundles on their own. Thank you.
Yes, okay, thank you. So if there are no questions or reactions, I will request that we close the meeting. If you allow me.
No, uko na swali wewe?
Yes, uliza. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
I was saying
about the discounted bundles.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
About the discounted bundle, I hear there is platform. About the discounted bundle, they exclude some platforms like Google Classroom, Google whatever.
Yeah. What's the question? I don't get the question.
My question is.
Hello,
Yes.
Eugene. The student is asking whether the discounted bundles can be used in any platform, because he's feeling, he has heard that it cannot be used on Google Classroom and other forums. So can the discounted bundles be used in any forum? That's the question of the student.
Okay. Let me consult very quickly. Boris, maybe you can address that.
The discounted bundles, you can use them on all those platforms. You can use it for Google Classroom, Big Blue Button, Zoom, all those platforms. You can use the bundles on all the platforms that we'll be using for learning.
But the message sent to the portal is inasema it excludes those Google platforms.
Now, all the platforms that we'll be using have been registered by Kenneth. So there is no way you will block it.
So that means the platform by Kelvin Omieno is misleading.
Okay, I can see someone, Kiplangat is asking how he can register for the discounted bundles. I think there was a link that was shared to students. You can use the link to register for the discounted bundles.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Yes.
So the link was sent into our emails, but our emails are not working. How do we receive them?
Okay, let me see if I can find the link right now. I share it with you. Before we stop.
Just to clarify about the bundles issue, I've just confirmed that the bundles are, and this is from Safaricom, the bundles are restricted to e-learning portals. There's something called a whitelist, which allows basically access to all of the e-learning portals that we have available to you. So those bundles go specifically for online learning.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
It's like I was asking.
Mm-hmm.
I had just a request.
Yes.
And I was requesting that let our emails be rectified very, very fast so that we can access which is that.
That's all right. I think Boris is here. He can address some of those email related issues. Yeah, Boris will address some of those email related issues. But as soon as you sign up on the Kenneth platform with your email address and you have verified your accounts, you should be able to access those bundles for our e-learning platforms. So, for example, this Zoom call, if you already signed up and you've received those subsidized bundles, you should be using data specifically from that, whatever bundle that you've gotten.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, maybe just a quick one. This training was on Zoom, so I want to believe since we've changed the topic, everyone is now okay with Zoom. Once the classes start, you can use Zoom to attend the classes. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's nice.
That's good.
Okay, I can see someone here is asking that, is saying that he provided a wrong email address while registering. So you can forward that communication to ict@kafuco.ac.ke. You can forward your name, the phone number that you used, and the email so that it can be rectified. Yes, I can see someone has shared the link for registering with Kenneth. So if you go to the chat, you will find that link. You can use that link to register. So up to that point, I want to believe if we close the meeting, all will be fine. And I wish you all the best as you attend other trainings.